Hi, everyone. So, this week we are talking about how's your email game? Is it too little? Is it too many? Is it just right? Where are we with this email world? Because, it's something we all have to do, right? We all need to utilize emails in order to truly maintain and grow a strong business. Emails are the best form of communication for many different reasons. So the question is, where do we start? What do we do? What's the most effective and efficient ways to actually do it right? This is what we're going to be talking about in this week's Tuesday Talks. And it's going to be just an open and honest conversation with me about emails and some actionable items that you can start today and look at what you're doing and think, you know what? I've done this, but this is something I hadn't thought of. We're going to make this easy because for me, anything that's too hard in your business, you're not going to maintain. It's like any type of habit. You're not going to be able to sustain it. And when it comes to emails and sending emails and communicating with your clients, your friends, your family, and letting them know about your business, consistency and communication is key. So let's talk emails. Here's the disclaimer. I am not going to claim to be an expert in this field because when it comes down to it, it's a lot. Emails in general are a huge, gigantic mass thing to understand. And of course, like all things in our industry these days, they're constantly changing. You're told one rule. Like, for example, there was that thing that people were doing where they put RE colon, right? Meaning you've already talked to me and I'm not replying, which was great because for a while it got you thinking, oh, did I already talk to this person? It must not be spam. Well, then you know what? The world caught on to it. And now that's actually a bad thing to do because it starts reading as spam when you do that too often because it's not authentic. Always have to be authentic and real in your emails. We're going to talk about actual things you can do. So first, we're going to talk about the different types of emails and when and how to use them. We're going to talk about how to write emails that are going to produce results. And we're going to talk when you should be sending your emails or how to figure out when you should be sending your emails. And then finally, as fast as I can get through it, we are going to go through 10 super fast tips and tricks to think about when you're looking at your email game. Right? Like I said, this is a huge, gigantic topic. And I'm going to try to nail and throw a bunch of stuff at you really fast, really quick, so you don't spend too much and it's full of really good information and you can always go back and listen to the recording and take notes of whatever you missed. So first, what type of emails are there? There's basically three main types of emails you're going to be sending. The welcome email, the educational email, and the promotional email. And you want to mix these in. Right? Welcome obviously is going to be the first one, but between educational and promotional, you don't want to promote all the time. There's this saying that you got to give, and then ask. Right? This is why I do all these. I am giving you as much as I can to make you hopefully trust me and then potentially want to hire me to help you with your business. This is exactly what this is. But I really hope that everything I'm offering you in this group is valuable, because I truly believe in it too. And I believe in helping people with their business. So let's talk about welcome emails. Obviously, it's where you introduce yourself, and whether you're a coach, a business coach, a photography client, whatever you're doing, you want to set expectations. Hi, I'm Andreka. I'm going to be emailing you once a week and talk about, for example, my newsletters. I'm going to be giving you tips on photography, business, and travel. Set the expectations, right? And you want to send it immediately after they subscribe and what they can expect from your emails, right? For example, like I just said, welcome to our wedding planning community. Here's what you can expect in your inbox. Tips, photos, special offers. That's a welcome email. And it doesn't hurt to, if you haven't sent a welcome email in a while, or you have people who've been on your list for a long time and it might have gotten buried somewhere, it doesn't hurt to send a welcome email even after they've already joined. You just need to tweak it a little bit. It's kind of like on your Instagram feed when every few bits you go, hi, I'm Andreka, for those that are new. Kind of like that. Then there's the educational email. This is where you're going to provide value. This is where you're going to offer all the things for free, if you will. You're going to offer valuable tips and information, share practical advice, give step-by-step guides, give helpful resources. Like, for example, if you're doing photography, reach out to your clients and say, hey, here's a great way to pose with your camera. Here's your cell phone to take a great photo. Or here's a great little unknown fact. For example, again, a while back, the whole elbow on the thing was how everyone was told to pose. It's not so much true anymore. So maybe offer an email where you're explaining the falsehoods of what's really true about posing these days, right? Things that make people think, and then they value you and they start to look at you as an expert. And then the promotional. So then the promotional email is obviously highlighting special offers or services. You want to send these emails sparingly. You want to really focus on the value of the offer, including a clear CTA, call to action, which we're going to talk about later. You want to give back for those who have decided to follow you on your list, and you want to make it worthwhile for them. Full disclosure again, I don't know how many of you out there know what a wedding hangover is. I am 100% in the middle of a wedding hangover, meaning it's Tuesday. I had 2 weddings and a portrait session yesterday. The day before that, I drove several hours all day because the day before that, I also had 2 weddings and a portrait session. So, and basically the last 72 hours, I've had 4 weddings and 2 portrait sessions, and I'm a little tired. But that's what the season's about. Okay, number 2. Now we are on to how to write emails that are going to produce stronger results. Things again to think about. Some of these things you know, some don't, but I hope this kind of triggers something in your head that helps you think and do things a little bit differently. 1, you want to start with a strong hook, right? For example, your first sentence. You want to capture the attention of your people with that first sentence. Use a surprising fact, a compelling question, a bold statement like something controversial, things that make people want to look more, right? Like, for example, did you know that 75% of couples regret not hiring a professional photographer? Here's why you shouldn't be one of them. Wow, 75%. Because oftentimes, especially these days when everybody has cameras, 75%, that's a big percentage. And a lot of people think, oh, it's not that important. I can just hand a camera to someone, you know? If you can go in and explain, this is educating, and it's something that's important to them, and it's a strong hook. It makes them think differently, all right? You want to also keep the email concise and clear. You want to write emails to be super short, easy to read. You want to limit your emails to about 200 words or less. I love to use bullet points and short paragraphs and straightforward language. You'll see in a lot of my emails, I like bullet points because for me, if I see a big chunk of text, I'm probably not going to read through it all. But if I see bullet points, I'm going to read the bullet points quicker and easier, right? So for example, you want to break down the email into 3 to 5 key points with a short introduction. And again, we're talking about the CTA, call to action, at the end. Third point to writing a strong email, use visuals. Include images and videos. There's 2 different type of people in the world. The visual and the what's the other one? Text. So they say sometimes if someone says the word cat, do you see the word cat written out or do you see a picture of the cat? So when you send an email, you want to hit both of this type of visual thinking and non-visual thinking. Visual, verbal, that's it. So include the images and the videos. You want to use high quality, especially since you're a photographer. Definitely use high quality from your portfolio. You'll notice though in my newsletters, I do professional for some of it, but then for my photo of the day, I want it to be more casual. So it's less necessarily professional photo for my portfolio. But then again, it's my brand, fun, relaxed, showing a piece of my life to make it personal, right? You want to make sure the graphics are relevant and you want to break up the text. So this is another point to be able to visually take in an email is to break things up. You could include a video tour of a recent wedding. You could include a series of photos showcasing different wedding themes or photo themes or portraits. Think about your clientele, think about who you're sending it to, and then that's how you incorporate the photos. Now, number 3, we're going to talk about when to send the emails. When to send emails. Timing is obviously key. So you want to send obviously at optimal times. Research for you the best times for your audience and test different days here and there to see what engagement is highest. Most of the time they say midweek in the mornings is most effective. Think about your ideal client. Think about their schedule of life, right? Are they commuting into the city at 8 o'clock in the morning scrolling? That's a great time. Are they working late until 2 in the morning and sleeping until noon? That might be the great time. Are they moms who are putting their kids to bed and then going scrolling before they go to bed? Or are they up early and like 7 o'clock isn't good because they're getting the kids all ready for school? So think about exactly who and when works best for you. Oftentimes Tuesdays and Wednesdays are great because if you think about it, weekends people can be busy and may not want to be on their computer or their phone so much. Mondays are, if people are working a normal Monday through Friday job, Mondays their email box is going to be bombarded with stuff. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays tend to be that kind of slower time to get results. Consistency matters. Find a balance with your email frequency. You don't want to overwhelm your audience by sending too many emails. Start with one a week, like a newsletter, and adjust based on engagements. I send the emails out based on this Facebook group because I want people to know this is going on and I want people to be reminded. But I keep them quick, short, easy, and regular. You know what's coming, and you can see it in the title if it's something that's going to interest you or not. And then I've got my newsletter. That is kind of my fun thing to also create connection between my audience and myself. Okay, now the fun part I'm going to fly through. 10 fast ways to utilize your email marketing more efficiently and what you can do and what you should be thinking about as you're doing it. Number one, you want to use your email list and you want to build a quality email list. Size doesn't matter if no one cares about what you have to say, right? So you really want to make sure you're collecting your emails from people who are actually interested in your services, even if it's just a little, right? So use sign-up forms on your website, use your social media, use people you've actually met in real life, whether that's at a networking event or a wedding that you've shot or a bridal show you're working. Use people you've met in person. They're the ones that are unsubscribe and potentially call you spam, which is the last thing you want when it comes to your email list. You can create pop-up forms on your website. You can have actual forms on your website. And you want to think about offering a lead magnet, which is a whole different conversation. But quickly to say that, again, you want to give to get. And what you're asking for is an email. You're actually asking for something from them. So what are you going to give them to get their email? It's called a lead magnet. And for example, maybe it's a checklist for planning their wedding, or maybe it's a posing guide, or maybe it's how to take pictures of your kids, or how to figure out what to wear for your family portraits. Think about the questions that people ask you, and that's where you can come up with a really great lead magnet, which then offers them something in exchange for them giving you the email address. Another thing, 2, segment your email list. Group your email list based on interest and maybe even stages of planning. That might be a little too much to get into. But for example, if they're portraits, if they're fellow photographers, if they're vendors, if they're couples, weddings, kind of figure out that. You can use tags in your email marketing platform to kind of understand where things are. You could put in wedding, portrait, venue, vendor. And then you can send even tips based on that when it comes into your emails, when it comes to the value you're offering in the educational emails that we talked about earlier. Then it's so important. This is the one thing I'm talking about, being authentic. You want to personalize your email. Make the emails feel, one, tailored to each recipient, each person. Use their names, reference things that they've maybe chatted about, or things that if you're doing a mass email, you know is going to refer to everyone that you have tagged. For example, depending on how much you tag down your email list, let's say you have everyone getting married at the same venue. Reference the venue, right? Talk about them, talk about how you can help them. You know, hi Sarah, as you prepare for your beach wedding, here are some tips about more beautiful beach weddings, things like that. And how, especially the great thing is when you're starting your email list, it's small enough that you can really personalize. As you start getting into the thousands, it gets more difficult. Create compelling subject lines. This is number 4. You want to create these attention-grabbing subject lines because, again, in a mass email, a sea of emails coming in every day, what's going to grab the person? You want to keep them under 50 characters. You want to use action words, and you want to kind of create a sense of urgency or curiosity. For example, 10 secrets to the perfect wedding photos. Don't miss out. Or don't make these mistakes when you're planning your wedding. These are easy to fix. Things like that. You want to number 5, craft engaging email content. So we're going back to the value. You want to provide value and you want to make sure it's engaging. You want to write in a conversational tone. Again, use bullet points, and you want to do a mix of tips, stories, promotions, like I talked about earlier, the 3 different types. You want to make sure it's engaging. You want to make sure people every week kind of want to say, oh, what's she talking about this week? In fact, I was just at a wedding this past week, and it was so neat because the parents of a groom that I photographed 2 years ago came up to me and said, we love your email. We love your newsletter. It's so great. It makes you feel like, oh, this is good. It's creating value in someone's life, right? Because that's really, everyone wants to be seen and heard and shared and connect. And this is your way of connecting when you can't connect with people in person. So now, number 6, this is a big one. Use a clear call to action, a CTA. A call to action basically means you're asking them to do something, right? You're directing your recipients to take a specific action. Use things like buttons or links. You want to make sure it's very clear and action oriented, like download, book now, learn more, click here. Download your free wedding guide. Download your posing guide. Email this code. Reply to this email. Ask me this question. Whatever it is, it's an action because you want to create engagement. And if you just send emails that don't have CTAs, it kind of becomes a one-ended conversation. It's kind of like talking with someone and not asking them a question, right? Oh, okay, the conversation ends because that other person decides not to engage back. But if you ask them a question, they're more likely to engage back, which keeps the conversation going back and forth, which is exactly what you really want with your emails. Okay, number 7, optimize for mobile devices. Make sure, of course, your email looks good on your computer, but does look good on your phone as well, because so many people now, they're commuting, they're laying in bed, they're on their phone, they're scrolling, and they're looking at everything in an email on your phone. So make sure, whatever program you're using, I love Flowdesk, optimize it for your mobile device. You can use responsive email templates. Like I mentioned, Flowdesk has these. Keep images small. Test your emails on different devices before you send it. And check that your email is easy to read on both iPhones and Androids, making sure everything is easy to see. The buttons are easy and clear. Easy, easy, easy. If an email is difficult, you're going to lose your subscriptions. Next, automate your email campaigns. Set up automated emails, even if it's not a full sequence, even if it's just a weekly email. It doesn't have to be a big, huge campaign and a big, huge follow-up and a big, huge sequence. The sooner you start, the easier it is to grow. You know, like I was mentioning, I use an email thing called Flowdesk, and you can create a series of emails that are going to be sent automatically. There's so many ways. This can create a whole chain of emails based on the activity that a different user uses. You know, do they click on this button, then this email is triggered. You don't have to start that big. You can start simply by automated 1 email a week. And then maybe from there, you add a second email that's triggered based on an action. Build into it. The sooner you begin doing this, the easier it is to grow into a bigger net of emails. And then we have number 9, track and analyze your email performance. So programs like Flowdesk and these other ones easily have areas you can see what's your click rate, what did people click on, how many people are opening your emails. You want to measure the effectiveness of your emails. You want to use your email marketing platforms and the analytics to track all the open rates of conversions and adjust your content based on that. For example, if I start to see that my travel emails are opening more in the summer, that kind of makes sense, right? Are my photography emails tracking more in the fall when people are getting ready and taking fall photos for their own selves for the holidays? That kind of makes sense as well. So tailor that, send more, make sure I send the travel ones in the summer and more photo ones in the fall. See how it works with your ideal audience. If you notice low open rates, test new subject lines or test different sending times. If click rates are low, try different call to actions. It doesn't have to be perfect out the gate. It's over time, you'll start to understand and see patterns and utilize those patterns. Okay, and then number 10, we talked about this a little bit already. Always provide value. In every single email, provide value. Provide tips, provide a promotion, a sale, provide something great. So share exclusive tips, discounts, personal stories, behind the scenes content that the recipient can't find anywhere else. Offer a limited time discount on engagement sessions or share that downloadable guide. You know, if you'll notice again on my newsletters, I always have that follow-up that's all the discount rates and then also my call to action. So what feels good to you, and that's what you should be doing. I hope this was super helpful. Bye, friends.